Now it is recording. Okay, we are discussing structure of an atom. Structure of atom is nothing but we should discuss about the discovery of electrons, discovery of protons, discovery of neutrons. After that, the arrangement of these fundamental particles, electrons, protons, and neutrons in the atom. There we should study about atomic models, Thomson's atomic model, Rutherford's atomic model, and Bohr's atomic model. Okay.
Yes, sir, we have that.
So, the beginning of this chapter, we are discussing discovery of electron, proton, and neutron. What are electrons, protons, and neutrons? These are the fundamental particles, no? These are the fundamental particles of an atom.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, before discussing about the discovery of electron, first we should know what is Dalton's atomic theory. Everybody knows, no? All of you know that in very lower classes. What is Dalton's atomic theory? Of you all, somebody knows, somebody don't know. According to Dalton's atomic theory, first time the scientist Dalton said about the atom.
John Dalton.
Yeah, John Dalton. So what was the points according to him? According to John Dalton, atom is indivisible. Atom is the smallest particle in the nature. We cannot divide atom into further. He said like that. But after some years, that point was failed because of discovery of electrons, protons, and neutrons. After discovering electrons, protons, and neutrons, our scientists said that these are fundamental particles of atoms. These fundamental particles present inside the atoms. Means what? Dalton's atomic theory was wrong, no? According to John Dalton, atom is indivisible. Means atom is the smallest particle of the nature. But after discovering electrons, protons, and neutrons, electrons, protons, neutrons are the fundamental particles of the atom. Means these are present inside the atom. Means if we break the atom, if we divide the atom, we can see the fundamental particles inside. Means atom is divisible, no? Atom is divided into electrons, protons, and neutrons, no? That's why Dalton's atomic theory was wrong, failed. I'm repeating. According to John Dalton, atom is indivisible because according to him, atom is the very smallest particle in the nature. But what are the advantages of John Dalton? He has explained successfully about the laws of chemical combinations. What are laws of chemical combinations? We are having 5 laws. Nobody knows out of you all. So later we will discuss about these laws of chemical combination in a separate chapter. Okay, anyway, laws of chemical combination we are having 5. Those are, you can see here. The law of conservation of mass, first one. Second one is law of constant composition. Third one is law of multiple proportions. And fourth one, fifth one are not given here. Fourth one is law of reciprocal proportions. And fifth one is Gay-Lussac law of combining volumes. Dalton's atomic
Your voice
theory.
was breaking, sir.
Can you write another 2 laws, sir, on the board?
Yeah, I will write. Is it clear voice now? If you say voice is clear, I will
Yes, sir.
continue.
Clear.
Clear, sir.
No? I think it is clear. Somebody said yes. Okay. Dalton atomic theory was able to explain law of conservation of mass, law of constant composition, law of multiple proportions, and remaining 2 I'm writing on the screen. You see. Law of reciprocal
Sir, why are these laws important, sir?
Yeah, important last one. Every law is important. In detail, we should discuss in separate chapter this. After atomic structure, we will focus on these laws. Law of reciprocal proportion, fourth one. The first one, second one, third one given in the data here. First one is law of conservation of mass. Second one is law of constant composition. Third one is law of multiple proportions. Fourth one is law of reciprocal proportions. And fifth one is Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes.
Sir, can
One
you
is,
come again the fifth law?
yeah, I'm ready. Gay-Lussac's Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. Combining volumes. Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. These are the 5 laws. So these 5 laws were successfully explained by the Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, shall I erase the screen? APT. Dalton's atomic theory was able to explain the law of conservation of mass, law of constant composition, law of multiple proportions, and fourth one is law of reciprocal proportions, and fifth one is Gay-Lussac law of combining volumes. These 5 laws are called as laws of chemical combination.
Can you tell the fifth class spelling, sir?
Fifth one,
G-A-Y.
G-A-Y. Some line I showed here. L-U-S-A-K. Sorry, L-U-S-A-C apostrophe S. Gay-Lussac is scientist name. Apostrophe S. Law of combining volumes. Law of combining volumes. Is it clear? Shall I erase the screen?
Can you repeat that fifth law, sir? That gray something you written.
I will rewrite again. See, fifth one is okay. First, it's Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. Fifth one. These laws were successfully explained by Dalton's theory. Shall I erase it? Fifth one on the screen.
Sir, 1 minute. Can you tell the first law, sir?
Yeah. First one is law of conservation of mass. You see with yellow color I have shown on the screen. Law of conservation of mass, first one. Second one is law of constant composition. Third one is law of multiple proportions. You see with the different colors I showed those 3 on the screen. Law of conservation of mass, first one that is. Second one is law of constant composition. Third one is law of multiple proportions. Fourth one is I wrote already before, law of reciprocal
Sir,
proportions.
fourth and fifth one is okay, sir. I got it, sir.
Yeah, right. So these laws were successfully explained by Dalton's theory. Now see continuation. 3 different kinds of subatomic particles were discovered in the 19th and 20th century. What are those? 3
Protons,
fundamental particles: electrons,
protons, electrons,
and neutrons. Namely, see electrons, protons, and neutrons. Each of these subatomic particles involved in different set of experiments which were conducted by different scientists. Means all the fundamental particles were discovered by not the same scientist. Electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson. proton by Goldstein, neutron by Chadwick. They discovered differently, different scientists by different experiments in 19th and 20th century. To prove the existence of the particles is described detail as follows. But because of the discovery of these fundamental particles, Dalton's atomic theory was failed. Because according to Dalton's atomic theory, atom is indivisible because it is smallest particle in the nature according to him. But after discovering electrons and protons and neutrons, atom is not a smallest particle in the nature. Inside the atom, electrons, protons, neutrons present, means compared to atom, electron, proton, neutron are smallest, no? If we divide the atom, electrons, protons, and neutrons will come. Means atom is divisible, but Dalton said it is indivisible. Is it clear to everyone?
Sir, 1 minute, sir, writing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if it is over, you can inform me. I will continue discovery of electron.
Sir, what is the chapter name, sir?
Still writing.
Sir, should we write that, sir, 3 different kinds of subatomic particles?
Shall I continue? Yeah, if you want to write, you can write. Otherwise, you take a screenshot. That is your choice. Somebody said, oh, you are writing. That's why I'm waiting. Anybody writing now?
Finish writing, sir.
Is it okay? Shall I continue?
Yes, sir. Finished.
You can explain again, Rishi. Yeah, I will explain again. See. So, cathode ray experiment, electron, proton, neutron we are discussing. So, first of all, the very first theory in chemistry is Dalton's atomic theory. According to John Dalton, atom is indivisible. According to John Dalton, atom is indivisible because according to him, atom is the smallest particle in the nature. Very smallest particle in the nature, he said. But after some years, in the 19th and 20th century, electrons, protons, and neutrons were discovered. After some years, electrons, protons, and neutrons were discovered. After discovering electrons, protons, and neutrons in 19th and 20th century by some other scientists, they confirmed that these fundamental particles are present inside the atom. Inside the atom. Means if we divide the atom, fundamental particles will come. Means atom is divisible. In that manner, Dalton's atomic theory was wrong. But it explains some of law of chemical combinations. Those are law of constant proportions, law of conservation of mass, law of multiple proportions, Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes, and law of reciprocal proportions. This file is explained by John Dalton successfully. But failure is he don't know about the subatomic particles. After his theory, subatomic particles were discovered in 19th and 20th century. So how they discovered those subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons, those we should discuss now one by one. Okay, I think it's over, written part. So I'm starting discovery of electrons.
Sir, can you give annotate option? Save. Screenshot.
Now we are discussing discovery of electrons.
Came out. Sir. Can't take screenshot.
Discovery of electrons. In 1885, you see, in 1885, using cathode ray tubes. What is cathode ray tube? That is one of the device I will show in the next page. Using cathode ray tubes. Chapter is atomic structure we are discussing. Atomic structure. Chapter is atomic structure. So let me write the chapter name. Atomic structure. So let me write again. Red color. Atomic structure. It is chapter. So we're discussing discovery of electrons. In 1885, cathode ray tubes. Using cathode ray tubes, Sir William Crookes, scientist named Sir William Crookes, conducted a series of experiments to study a behavior of metals heated in vacuum. For example, if we heat the metal by taking one metal rod, if we heat it in the vacuum, not in presence of air, in vacuum, if we heat the metal, what happens? To identify that, Sir William Crookes did some experiment by using cathode ray. Okay, that cathode ray tube is useful here to discover electrons. Okay, first time cathode ray tube was used by Sir William Crookes. For what purpose? To identify the metal rod whenever it is heated in vacuum. To identify the metal rod whenever it is heated in vacuum, he used cathode ray tube first time. Who? Sir William Crookes. And continuation you see now. A cathode ray tube consists of, see, diagram I will show in the next page, but you see the description of the cathode ray tube given here. A cathode ray tube consists of two metal electrodes in partially evacuated glass tube. Partially evacuated glass tube. So a rough diagram I will show here just for explanation purpose. Some glass tube. It is one glass tube. It is having two metal rods. See, a cathode ray tube consists of two metal electrodes. These metal rods are acting as metal electrodes in partially evacuated glass tube. It is a glass tube. Partially evacuated glass tube means by using vacuum pump. Here it is a VP, means vacuum pump. By using vacuum pump, we are removing the gas present in the glass tube. Means we are creating vacuum inside the glass tube. An evacuated tube. An evacuated glass tube is one from which most of the air has been removed. I said no, by using vacuum pump we are removing the air from the glass tube. Cathode is called negatively charged electrode. Assume it is a negatively charged rod. Sorry. Assume this rod is negative, this rod is positive. Two metal rods, so one is negatively charged rod, one is positively charged rod. Negatively charged rod is called cathode, positively charged rod is called anode. while anode is called positively charged rod. Okay, so let me write that one also here. Negatively charged rod is called cathode, positively charged rod is called anode. These electrodes are connected to a high voltage source. So let me show that. These two rods are gone now. These two rods are connected through a highly called negatively charged electrode, while anode is positively charged rod. Up to here, understood all of you? These electrodes are connected to a high voltage source. Two electrodes I shown now before, those two are connected through a battery which contains high voltage. Such a cathode ray tube has been shown in the following figure. Okay, so let me show next page. In the next page, diagram is there. So by seeing the diagram, same thing what is given in this paragraph, I will explain again. Description of cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, now all of you take a screenshot first, then we can go to the next page.
Can you give annotate option?
PDF file is not available for this chapter. Only pages I am having. So better to take screenshots, all of you. I will make it in the form of PDF file, if possible, after the class. If it is successful, I will send to the like yesterday's previous chapter.
Sir, can you give option?
Screenshot took now everyone. I am removing this. I will open the another page.
Sir, can you give annotate option, sir? This screen.
No, sir. Yeah, take first. I will wait. Take a screenshot, all of you. Annotate
Sir,
option. Huh? Yeah.
sir, can you give annotate option? Thank you, sir.
Right, I give annotate option to you. Shall I erase? Shall I remove? Shall I remove the screen? Everyone took no? Screenshot took no?
Yes,
We'll
sir.
go to the next page. Okay, I'm removing the screen. So nobody took screenshot. You're trying to take screenshot. It's not working.
Sir,
Your
I
messages
wrote,
are showing that.
sir, wrote all and took screenshot also.
The next question, next page.
Sir, if you can, in front of PDF file, you do, sir.
Okay, I'm going to the next page. Somebody took screenshot already. If somebody are unable to take screenshots, I think so. So those we can request others who took, they will post those screenshots in the. Otherwise, I will send these all in the group. These all pages I will post in groups. Okay. Next page.
Can you post, sir?
Sir, why did you stop screen sharing, sir?
See, the cathode ray discharge tube diagram is given figure. See. You see, two metal rods. See, black color. Two metal rods, which are connected to a high voltage battery, high voltage generator. Okay. And to the battery, the one metal rod is connected to negative terminal of the battery, that is called negatively charged rod. That is called negatively charged rod, called as cathode. And another metal rod is connected to positive terminal of the battery, called as positively charged rod, called as anode.
Anode.
And the total glass tube is evacuated glass tube. Evacuated glass tube means so the air removed from the glass tube by using a vacuum pump. See, vacuum pump is here. By using a vacuum pump, the gas present inside is removed, so it is vacuum inside the glass tube. And this experiment is conducted at high voltage, very high voltage we are using, and at very low pressure, because the total gas we removed from the glass tube, no? The total gas we removed from the glass tube means the very low pressure is present inside the glass tube. So the experiment we are conducting here at very high voltage and at very low pressure, at very high voltage and at very low pressure we are conducting experiment. This is the total diagram of cathode ray discharge tube experiment. It is called discharge tube. This total diagram is discharge tube, cathode ray discharge tube. This discharge tube was first of all used by who? Sir William Crookes. I said no, Sir William Crookes, scientist name. He used this discharge tube first time for what purpose? To identify the metal rods whenever those are heated in vacuum. Whenever metal rods are heated in vacuum, what happens to identify that? Sir William Crookes used these cathode ray discharge tubes first time. Okay. So, what is the name of the diagram? Huh? So, cathode ray discharge tube. That's it. So, it's given over here. See, discharge tube given. See, with yellow color, with a blue color. I will show. See here, discharge tube given. No. This one you see. Discharge tube. This is a discharge tube. Okay. So what happens? So whenever this experiment was conducted, so what happens here? We'll see. It was observed that cathode produced a stream of particles when very high voltage is passed through the electrodes. We are passing very high voltage through the battery to the metal. If we pass very high voltage through the battery to the metal rods, cathode rod, this one, cathode rod is producing stream of particles in the evacuated tube. It has been shown that these particles travel from cathode to anode and have been called cathode rays. So let me explain. So in this experiment, he observed that some of the particles are traveling from cathode to anode.
Anode
This
ray.
direction. Cathode to anode means the particles are coming from cathode rod. No, cathode rod is negatively charged. No, the particles are generating
Yes,
from
sir.
negatively charged rod from cathode. Negatively charged.
Yes, sir.
So these particles are coming from negatively charged rod. That's why these are called negatively charged particles coming from cathode rod. No, that's why cathode rays. Later on, those particles are named as electrons. That's why electrons are negatively charged particles. Electrons are cathode particles, cathode rays. Another names of electrons. These are. See continuation. From cathode and anode known as cathode rays. Yeah, the particles which are coming from cathode. The particles which are coming from cathode. Cathode to anode electrons are coming, particles are coming. The particles which are coming from cathode to anode. From cathode to anode, those are cathode rays or negatively charged particles or electrons. Those are coming from cathode to anode is nothing but these are generating from cathode. The source of these particles is cathode. That's why cathode rays. That's why negatively charged particles called as electrons. See now continuation. In the up to here understood no? Right. In the absence of external magnetic and electric field. So means electrons are moving from cathode to anode. No? In that way, in the way of electrons, if we apply magnetic field or if we apply electric field, these rays are travel in straight line. Means in the absence of, if we are not applying electric and magnetic field, cathode rays are traveling in the straight line manner. These are travel in straight line manner. In 1897, an English physicist Sir J.J. Thomson showed that these rays were made up of stream of negatively charged particles. His conclusion was drawn from the experiment observations in the presence of an external electric field. The experiment was conducted. These important characteristics of cathode rays are as follows. Means, let me explain what is given here. Some disturbance here too, that is some the air sound you are getting, I think so, right? Wind sound.
Yes, sir.
Now it is gone. Just wait, I will try to reduce that. Okay. I think somewhat better now. Okay, listen now. Cathode ray discharge tube experiment we are discussing. So just to summary I am telling. So what we did till now, I am repeating again once again, listen. So cathode ray discharge tube experiment was introduced by first time used by whom? Anybody answer?
Sir, can I tell?
Yeah, anybody can.
1897 an English physicist, sir. JJ.
No. First time. J.J. Thomson here.
William.
But I am asking, yes, Sir William Crookes. No, in the previous page I showed no, the first time this tube was used by Sir William Crookes. For what purpose? To identify whenever metal rod is heated in vacuum, what happens? To identify that, Sir William Crookes used this cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, he found that some of the particles are coming from cathode to anode. He said, at that stage he stopped that experiment. From there, J.J. Thomson continued it in 1897. He did that in 1885, right?
Yes, sir.
He did that. Sir William Crookes started this tube experiment in 1885. He identified whenever metal rod is heated in vacuum, some particles are coming from cathode to anode. He said some stream of particles are traveling in the vacuum. He said, and he did not identify what are those particles. And continuation he did not do. And continuation was done by J.J. Thomson, English physicist, in 1897. And he observed those rays which are coming from cathode to anode in vacuum whenever high voltage is applied in presence of very low pressure, means in vacuum. He said that the particles, the stream of particles which are coming from cathode rod to anode rod are negatively charged particles, because these are coming from negatively charged metal rod which is called as cathode. That's why those particles are said to be, which are coming from cathode, those particles are said to be cathode particles. Cathode rays are negatively charged particles. After some years, those particles are named as electrons. So electrons, another name is negatively charged particles, another name is cathode rays. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cathode rays means electrons only. Electrons are negatively charged particles. Who discovered electrons? J.J. Thomson, not Sir William Crookes. Electrons nature identified by J.J. Thomson, because he continued that, no, after Sir William Crookes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, are they brothers or something?
Tell me.
Sir, are they both brothers?
No, not brothers. They're completely different guys.
Sir, William Crookes is also English physicist, sir.
English physicist only. Okay. Right. See. So now, after discovering electrons by J.J. Thomson, he did not stop to do their experiment. His experiments he did not stop. He continued the process to identify the nature of electrons, properties of electrons. He did series of experiments by using same cathode ray discharge tube to tell the properties of electrons. Okay. So those properties, what properties were given by J.J. Thomson, we are discussing now. Those are number one, properties of electrons, the cathode rays. Cathode rays travel in straight line. Cathode rays travel in straight line means in this manner. Cathode to anode in the straight line manner, electrons will travel. Cathode rays travel in straight line manner. Whenever external electric field and magnetic field is not applied, in the absence of electric and magnetic field, electrons will travel, cathode will travel from cathode to anode in the straight line manner, not in presence of electric and magnetic field. If we apply electric or magnetic field, electrons will show some deviations, not in straight lines, because electrons are charged particles. Cathode rays are charged particles. Which charge? Negative or positive? Negative charge, no? Electrons are negatively charged particles. If we apply electric field means what? Positive and negative energy, both will present, no? So
Yes, sir.
if we apply electric field, cathode rays means negatively charged particles will move towards positive plate of the electric field.
Anode.
Yes, anode. Means those are showing some deviations in the presence of electric field.
Yes,
These are
sir.
not traveling in straight line manner. In the same manner, in presence of magnetic field also. So I am concluding. Electrons will travel in straight line manner in the absence of electric and magnetic field. But in presence of electric and magnetic field, electrons will show deviations, will not show in the straight line manner. Right? Come to the second point. Second point you see. Cathode ray particles carry mass and possess kinetic energy. Cathode rays are having some mass and possess kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy equal to formula, you know that, I think so. Half mv square, you know that.
Square.
Half mv square.
Square.
Yes, sir.
K
Any particle having some mass m and possessing velocity, those are having kinetic energy.
Yes, sir.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
according to his series of experiments, J.J. Thomson said cathode rays are having some mass, carry some mass. And those are moving, no, from cathode to anode. So those are having some kinetic energy. That is second point.
Yes, sir.
Cathode ray particles are having some mass and possess kinetic energy. Okay. So you take a screenshot this page, then we'll go to the next page. Continuation properties of cathode rays.
Taken, sir.
Taken, sir.
The next page.
Let me see messages. Somebody said many messages from cathode to anode known as cathode rays of electrons. So right, so there is some disturbance. Is there? Okay, fine. So now no disturbance, no, it is clear now for everyone.
Yes, sir. No disturbance.
Yes, sir. No disturbance.
So it's a continuation. Two properties completed for electrons. Number three.
Can you go back,
Property of
sir? I want
electron.
to take a
Which page?
the last page, sir.
You didn't
Previous
take, huh? So let me finish this page. After that, I will show again. Okay. But don't worry. If you want to take, you take. Otherwise, leave it. What I am explaining pages here. These all pages I will post in the group today.
Sir, 1 minute, can you remove the red color, sir? I'll take screenshot.
Yeah, you are taking. Yeah, take a screenshot. All of you.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yes, yes. So taken now. Taken now. Yes, listen.
Yes, sir, took, sir.
Okay, now point number 3 in the properties of electrons. See, the particles that constitute the cathode rays have insignificant mass, but they travel very quickly. So what I said, electrons are having mass. No, I said in second point, right? Electrons are having
Sir.
mass, that is sure, but having very less mass, not a considerable mass. But anyway, mass is present. That's why it is having kinetic energy. I said in second point. So the particles of constant cathode rays have insignificant mass, means it is having very less mass. So what is the value of mass also I will give in next classes. But they travel in very quickly. Less mass. Mass of electron is very less. Its weight is less, so it will travel fastly. That's why. Next point number 4. By applying electric and magnetic fields, cathode ray particles carry negative charge and are attracted positively charged to plate. I said already this point. In the absence of electric field and magnetic field, electrons will move in the straight line. But in presence of electric field and magnetic field, electrons will show some deviations. Electrons or negatively charged particles will move towards the positively charged plate. Next point. The nature of cathode rays produced was independent of the nature of gas filled in the cathode ray tube. Independent of the nature of gas filled in the cathode ray tube. See, in the cathode ray discharge tube experiment, what I said, we are removing the gas present in the discharge tube, glass tube, by using vacuum pump. I said. Generally, whenever we are preparing glass tube, some air will be occupied inside the glass tube, right? That air we are removing. Air means atmospheric air, mixture of all the gases. That one we are removing by using vacuum pump. After that, we have to fill some amount of gas in the discharge tube. Which gas? Either hydrogen gas or nitrogen gas or oxygen gas. Any one gas we have to fill. But very negligible amount of gas we should fill, because we are conducting the experiment at very low pressure. Very low pressure means very less amount of gas we should fill. Okay, which gas we should fill? If we use which gas, we can identify a nature of electrons in the experiment. Is it hydrogen gas? Is it oxygen? Is it nitrogen? That is only given point here. Any gas, if we use any gas in the discharge tube experiment, we can identify the presence of electrons in that experiment. That is given. See the again point. The nature of cathode rays produced. The nature of cathode rays produced was independent of nature of gas filled in the cathode ray tube. Independent of nature of the gas. What is the gas? That is not a matter. Any gas you fill, you can identify the nature of electrons in the tube. And the nature of the metal used for cathode and anode production. What is cathode in the experiment? Metal rod only, no? What is anode in the experiment? Metal rod only, no? Which metal? Any metal we can use. So, identification of electron is possible if we use any metal rod as a cathode and anode, any gas present in the tube. It is independent of the gas we are using in the glass tube, and it is independent of the material we are using in the metal. So the charge to mass ratio of charge means E, mass means M, no? E by M, charge by mass. That's why the ratio of charge to mass has been found to be same in all cases. Is nothing but E by M value of electron is constant. Okay, some constant value. So what is that value? It is not a matter here. I will tell those values in coming classes. What is the charge of electron, charge of proton, charge of neutron, mass of electron, mass of proton, mass of neutron, E by M value of electron, E by M value of proton, E by M value of neutron. These are all values we have to memorize. Those all I will explain clearly in further classes, coming classes, not now. Anyway, E by M value of an electron is a constant. E by M value of electron is not changing if we change the gas filled in the discharge tube experiment. E by M value of electron is not changing if we change the material we are using in the preparation of a cathode and anode. Even if we use any gas in the cathode ray discharge tube, any metal rod if we use as electrodes, the E by M value of an electron is same, constant. So all of you understood this point?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I didn't understand that point, sir.
Yeah, I will repeat now. In previous phase, cathode ray discharge tube is there, no diagram. In that diagram,
Yes, sir.
we are creating vacuum. No, in that glass tube, we are creating vacuum by using vacuum pump, right?
Yes, sir.
Means by using vacuum pump, we are removing the air present inside the tube. After that, we should fill some gas inside the tube. Which gas? Not a mixture of gases. Any one gas we should fill to perform the experiment. Then only we can identify the nature of electrons. Which gas we are filling? Any gas you fill. Hydrogen gas you fill, or nitrogen gas you fill, or oxygen gas you fill. If we fill any gas, you can identify the presence of electrons. And which metal rod we are using there as a cathode and anode? Cathode is metal rod, anode is metal rod in that experiment. Cathode is metal rod, anode is metal rod. Which metal rod? Many metals are there in the chemistry. Any metal we can use. Means if we use any gas in the discharge tube experiment, if we use any metal rod as electrodes, the charge of an electron is same. Charge of an electron is same. The presence of electrons we can identify. Means the presence of electrons or the charge of electrons does not depend on the material of electrodes we are using in the experiment, nature of the gas present in the glass tube of that experiment. That is the meaning of this point. So see once again, data what is given here. The nature of the cathode rays produced was independent. See, not dependent, independent of the nature of the gas filled in the cathode ray tube and the independent of nature of the metal used as a cathode and anode production. The charge to mass ratio has been found to be same in all the cases. If you use any gas, if you use any metal rod, E by M value is same per electron in electron discovery. I think all of you understood now.
Yes, sir.
So somebody said Utsava before she said not understood. Utsava, you are only no?
Rishi.
Rishi said before.
Rishi
Rishi understood or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Next continuation. See. These particles that make up the rays of the cathode were later called electrons. I said this point already. So these cathode ray particles only after some years named as electrons.
Yes, sir.
The nature of cathode rays was observed to be the same regardless of metal used for cathode or gas filled in the cathode ray tube. What we discussed in the previous paragraph, same thing is given. These cathode rays were identified, observed, even if we use any metal as a electrode, cathode and anode. That is only given, which we discussed in the previous paragraph. This led Thomson to conduct that electrons must be present in all the atoms. So what he said, if we use any gas, we are observing electrons. Means the electrons what we are observing here in the experiment are coming from gases only, no? What we are using in the tube. Means hydrogen gas if we use, we are identifying electrons. Means hydrogen atoms are having electrons. Nitrogen gas if we use, we are observing electrons. Means nitrogen atoms are having electrons. If we use oxygen gas, we are observing electrons. Means oxygen atoms are having electrons. So according to this point, Thomson concluded that every atom having electrons. Every atom having electrons, he said, according to this experiment. This means that, see, Daltons and others believed atom is not indivisible. Atom is not a indivisible. So according to Thomson, Dalton's atomic theory was wrong. What Dalton said, atom is indivisible, he said no. But according to Thomson, atom is divisible. If we divide atoms, electrons present inside the atom. After discovering electrons, Thomson finalized that, like Dalton and others who said atom is indivisible, those concepts were wrong, he said. Dalton's atomic theory was wrong after a discovery of electrons by J.J. Thomson. Till that, along with Dalton, everybody believed that Dalton's atomic theory was correct. Okay. Right, continuation. In other words, you can say that the atomic structure theory of Dalton's partially failed. His conclusion raised question that if the atom is divisible, then what and how many were constituents? See, electrons were discovered. Thomson said electrons are present inside the atom. Immediately, every scientist got question mark. Electron, some fundamental particle is present inside the atom, that is electron. All of you got. For every scientist, raised one question. Is it only electron present inside the atom, or along with electron any other subatomic particles present? Everybody got the doubt. Okay. Today, number of smaller particles are found as a constituent atoms. Those are electrons, protons, and neutrons. Now we know that these particles constituting the atom are called subatomic particles. Electrons, protons, and neutrons which are present inside the atom are called subatomic particles. After this discovery, we came to know that electron is one of the constituents of atom. 1 year later, the world came to know about another constituent. Till now, we know only electron is subatomic particle. After 1 year of discovering electron by J.J. Thomson, J.J. Thomson discovered electron. After 1 year, another subatomic particle was discovered, that is proton. By whom? Anybody know who discovered electron? J.J. Thomson, right? By using a
Yes, sir.
Sir William Crookes experiment. But who discovered proton? Goldstein. By the help of Rutherford. Okay, let me explain that. Now see, 1 year later, the world came to know about another constituent, which is proton. In next phase, I will explain the discovery of proton now. So all of you take a screenshot, if not.
Sir, who discovered protons? Sir, Rutherford, sir.
No, Goldstein. Name is going to Goldstein.
Yes, sir.
So,
Sir, will you send that PDF, sir?
PDF file is not available, but this material is available in the form of pages only.
Yes, sir. Send it as pages only, sir.
I will send these pages. I will post today after the class. Right. So till here, understood all of you?
Sir.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Right. Next. See, another constituent particle, discovery of proton.
Sir, what is this, sir, diagram?
discovery of proton. Same like cathode discharge tube, only reverse manner we should discuss. Tube is same. Cathode discharge tube only it is also. Discharge tube only. Previous to electron discovery also discharge tube. Anode proton discovery also discharge tube only, but we should discuss in the reverse manner. Tube, description is same. Tube is same. Discharge tube only. Okay, see. So after one, see last page, last line is given. After 1 year, another constituent particle is discovered, that is proton. Another constituent
Yes, sir.
particle present in an atom, that is proton. As the atom is neutral, because everybody knows that atom is neutral, no? At the time of the John Dalton also. But atom is neutral,
Yes.
but atom contains electrons, according to Thomson. Atom contains electrons, but electrons are negatively charged particles. Atom is neutral, but inside the atom, negatively charged particles present. Then how atom is neutral?
Sir, there should be positive charged.
Yes.
I mean,
If
particles too, sir.
very good,
Then
right?
it will be neutral, sir.
Yes. Yes. If
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
negatively
Who
charged
found
particles,
out
electrons.
protons?
Let me tell. Wait, I will tell. Listen first. If only negatively charged particles present inside the atom, atom should be negative, no? But atom is neutral according to John Dalton. That's why they thought some positively charged particles present inside the atom along with electrons. They thought like that.
Yes, sir.
That is given. There is a presence of positively charged particles in an atom, so as to neutralize two negatively charged particles, electrons. That's why they started. That's why they started again the discharge tube experiment to identify the nature of protons inside the atom. The discovery of proton now. Up to here, clear now for everyone?
Sir, 1 minute, sir. I'm taking a screenshot.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Clear.
Sir, can you erase, sir?
Yeah,
The
yeah, right. Yes.
Sir, can you show the whole page, sir? I think you have zoomed in.
Yes,
No,
sir.
not zoomed.
Sir, but it is.
Yes, sir. At the top, it is not fully sentenced, sir.
Sir, at the
What you-
bottom.
At the top, what you are seeing? Particle present in an atom. That is first line.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But it is not the starting of a sentence, no, sir.
No. Previous page continuation it is. Previous page last line. No, here first line is matching. No,
At the last also, sir.
Last also we can't see full page.
last one is charged positively and have also been called. That is last line. So they're visible, no? Also been
Thank
called.
you.
Only a being called, sir.
Yeah. Continuation next page it will come. I created the pages like that to avoid some advertisements are there in between. That's why I removed those.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now discovery of proton. Discovery of protons.
So discovery of electron finished, sir.
Discovery of electron finished. Discovery of proton. Scientist Goldstein. Eugen Goldstein. Full name. In 1886. In 1886, carried out an experiment using a perforated cathode. A cathode with holes in it. See the diagram first. If you try to understand the diagram, easily you can. Now, see the diagram. This is cathode rods. You compare the diagram with the cathode and discharge tube diagram. Similar will come. So what I rounded here with red mark, that is cathode. In that previous diagram also same position of cathode. It is anode. Perforated cathode, anode. What is perforated? Perforated cathode means to the cathode rod in this experiment, to the negatively charged rod in this experiment, they made some holes. The white color dots given, no, that is a hole of cathode metal rod. Identify no white colored or holes here in the metal rod. That is called perforated cathode and anode. The total is discharge tube experiment. It is same thing. Vacuum pump is there, and high voltage we are applying, and air at very low pressure. Everything is same. No? We are conducting this experiment also at very low pressure and at high, very high voltage. Voltage is high. We are applying. Pressure is low. Everything is same, but the difference is cathode ray discharge tube and anode ray discharge tube. Difference is here only. In cathode ray discharge tube, while discovering electrons, there is no holes on the cathode rod, but here they made some holes. That is one difference. And they arranged here zinc sulfide screen, ZNS screen. In the electrons discovery also, the screen is there. In electron discovery, the screen is present on the protons on the anode side. Red
Sir,
color
how
glow
is
you can
it
see.
red glow?
I will tell. Red glow, because this red glow will be on the anode side in the electrons discovery. It is not given in the material clearly, because electrons we are able to see. Is it possible to see with our naked eyes? You cannot see, no? Electrons and protons are invisible particles. We cannot see. Then how they identified the nature of electrons and protons? By using one screen, fluorescent or phosphorescent screen, we can say, that is ZNS. Zinc sulfide screen acting as a fluorescent or phosphorescent screen. Whenever electron is striking on the screen, one bright spark will be appeared. One bright spark will be appeared. Whenever electron or proton is striking the ZNS screen, one bright spark will be appeared. That bright spark means some ray is coming in that way and striking that screen at that particular place. Like that, they imagine some particles are coming from cathode to anode in electrons discovery experiment. Means generally electrons and protons are invisible. To identify nature of those invisible particles, we are using ZNS screen. In the same manner, here ZNS screen is used in this side. So protons are coming and striking here. So one glow is forming, that is red glow. All of you understood what is the red glow?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, see now here.
Sir, can you explain that diagram?
Same diagram, no, like cathode ray discharge tube. Yeah, I'm explaining now. Again, see. In this experiment, so what is the mechanism of cathode ray discharge tube experiment? So previous experiment I'm telling again. So we are applying high voltage. So because of high voltage, the voltage is striking the gas present here, no? Gas present here. Whenever voltage is striking the gas, from the gas electron is coming out. Okay, from the okay. So hydrogen atoms, hydrogen gas we are using in the cathode ray discharge tube. Previous experiment. So because of high voltage, it is ionized to H plus and electrons. No? If we use high voltage through the battery to the hydrogen gas, because of high voltage, hydrogen gas will be ionized, no? Ionized to H plus and electron. Hydrogen atom is losing one electron. So proton and electron present in the cathode ray discharge tube now. H plus ions present, electrons present. This electron is going to another H2 molecule in that gas. Electron is added to this hydrogen atom. Another electron is coming out from this hydrogen atom. This is the mechanism how electrons are identified in the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Clear? In the same manner, whenever hydrogen atoms are ionized, H plus and electrons forming, no? electrons are discovered in cathode ray discharge tube experiment. See here, whenever high voltage is applied along with electrons, which is forming, H plus ions are also forming, no? H plus ion is what? Cation, no? Right? If we use N2 gas, nitrogen ions cation will form along with electron. If we use oxygen gas, oxygen cation will form along with electron. You see clearly, I said one point in cathode ray discharge tube experiment in the discovery of electrons, that is, irrespective of the gas we are using in the tube, electrons are identified. I said or not?
You said, sir.
See, here if we use nitrogen gas, we are getting electrons. If we use hydrogen gas, we are getting electrons. If we use oxygen gas, we are getting electrons. But now we are discussing proton discovery. What is proton? What is the symbol of proton, you tell? H plus ion only, no? H plus ion is said to be proton, no? You see, I am writing here. Hydrogen atom having how many electrons and how many protons? Tell me, anybody, answer. Hydrogen atom having how many electrons? You can unmute mics, you, all of you. Try to answer, anybody. Hydrogen atom having how many electrons?
One, sir.
How many protons?
One.
One, sir.
Zero
One proton or
neutrons.
one electron. How many neutrons? Zero.
Zero.
Neutrons. Okay.
No.
Imagine it is losing one electron.
Sir, it won't lose now, sir. It will share.
It will not lose. That is a different matter.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
different concept. If we apply very high temperature, it can lose electrons. That is possible. But normally it cannot. But at high voltage, it is possible. So anyway, just imagine it loses one electron at very high temperature. After losing electrons,
Zero electrons left.
now H plus ion we are talking. How many electrons in H plus?
Zero.
Zero. How many protons?
Zero. Oh, sorry, one. Sorry.
One proton. How many neutrons?
Zero. Zero neutrons.
Zero neutrons, so zero electrons, so only proton. So H plus ion is the symbol of proton, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
A
sir.
positive.
That one I am telling.
Okay, sir.
H plus ion is nothing but proton. You see, come to the previous one. So what I wrote above. Hydrogen gas, H2 gas on ionization, it is giving H plus ion and electron. It is giving electron and proton H plus, right? But if we ionize nitrogen gas, if we take nitrogen gas in the tube, it is giving N plus and electron. N plus, is it proton? No, it is not a proton.
It has more protons than electrons.
Not more protons. There is no protons in nitrogen gas. No, if you ionize nitrogen gas, it is giving N plus cation. It is not a proton. No, H plus is a proton, not N plus.
Sir, how did it get plus symbol, sir? Like positive symbol.
Positive symbol is nothing but it is a cation. No,
Okay,
not only
sir.
a proton.
Okay, sir.
Because N plus you take, if you take N plus, nitrogen atom having 7 electrons, 7 protons. So, but N plus having 7 protons and 6 electrons. No, electrons also present. It is losing only 1 electron here, not 6 electrons. No. So electrons and protons both present in N plus. If electrons are not present, only protons present, we can say that is a symbol of proton, like H plus. So N plus, O plus are not the symbols of protons. Those are called as anode rays. Anode rays means cation rays. Let me give the clarity. You are having some confusion, I know. So I will give the clarity at the end of the class.
Sir, I
Okay.
didn't understand that,
Yeah.
sir.
I know that. I know that. I'm repeating that. That's why. Listen. Hydrogen gas we are taking in the discharge tube experiment. Okay. Means hydrogen gas means hydrogen atoms present in the tube.
Sir, I mean it is H plus.
Yeah. Hydrogen atoms undergoes ionized because of high voltage in the tube. It will ionize like this. By losing one electron, it will ionize like this. Okay. Next, nitrogen gas I am filling in the tube. It will dissociate into N plus and electron. Oxygen gas we are taking.
Electrons, eh?
Yeah, one electron or all the electrons you take. All the electrons are coming out also, you can imagine. Just for explanation, I'm using one electron here. Okay. Now see, I said in a previous experiment in electrons discovery, what I said, irrespective of the gas we are filling in the tube, electrons will be discovered, electrons will be identified, I said, because even if we take H2 gas, we are getting electron. If we take nitrogen gas, we are getting electron. If we are taking oxygen gas, we are getting electron, right?
Yes, sir.
So if we use any gas in the tube, we will get the electrons in the cathode ray discharge tube experiment, in electrons discovery, that is.
Yes, sir.
But here, in cathode ray discharge tube, in anode ray discharge tube experiment, discovery of proton. What is proton? Proton is a H plus ion, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But N plus is not a proton, O plus is not a proton, only H plus is a proton.
Cation, sir. Cations.
Yes. All, we can say all are cations, all are anode rays also we can say. H plus is anode ray, N plus is anode ray, O plus is anode ray. All are anode rays. But protons are only H plus ions. Right? Protons are only H plus ions. Okay. Now we are discussing discovery of proton. To discover proton, to identify proton, to identify H plus ions in the discharge tube experiment, which gas we should use in the tube? To identify H plus ions, which gas we should fill in the tube? Anybody answer? To identify H plus ions, hydrogen gas, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
If
sir,
we fill
hydrogen
the
gas.
Yes, if we fill the cathode ray discharge tube by hydrogen gas, then only you can identify H plus ions and electrons.
Yes, sir.
If we fill the tube with N2 gas, is it possible to identify protons?
No, sir.
If we fill the tube with O2 gas, is it possible to identify protons, H plus ions?
No, sir. Because only hydrogen, it is only protons.
Yes, that is the point required here.
Yes,
Means
sir.
while discovering electrons, we can use any gas in the tube. But while discovering protons, we should use hydrogen gas only in the tube.
Sir, always we should use that only, sir.
Yes, yes. If you use N2 gas and O2 gas, you can identify cations, you can identify anode rays. You can identify anode rays. Positively charged particles you can identify if you use N2 and O2. But those anode rays, those positively charged particles are not protons. Just anode rays. All the positively charged particles are anode rays. But all the positively charged particles are not protons. Only H plus ions are protons. Clear now for everyone?
So only H plus, sir. Are there any two other?
No, only H plus. Only H plus ions are protons.
Okay, sir.
That's all. So shall I erase the screen now? So what I wrote on the screen, that one.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now you can erase.
Yes, sir, you can erase. Sir, we took it first only, sir. Screenshot.
Yeah. See the data what is given here I am telling, now you can understand. See, in electron discharge tube experiment, we identified the nature of electrons, cathode rays, which are coming from cathode to anode. No? In previous, this direction
Sir.
we identified the nature of electrons because those are coming from cathode moving towards anode. But here, we are getting positively charged particles, no? Which are coming, generating from
Cathode.
anode to cathode. Those are invisible protons here. That's why these are showing some glow on the screen, ZNS
Sir,
screen.
are they
fluorescence
called
screen, like
anode
that.
rays, sir? Were they called anode rays, sir, before they called it protons?
Yes, yeah. Anode, which are coming from anode, those are called as anode rays. Those are called as anode rays. Yes. If we use hydrogen gas, we can call those anode rays as protons.
Okay, sir.
They are asking about protons, we should use only hydrogen. If they are asking about anode rays, we can use any gas. Based on the method of asking the question, we should answer. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So let me finish the data what is given here. You can get the clarity at last. See. Eugen Goldstein carried out an experiment using a perforated cathode with holes in it. This is white color dots, holes. In the discharge tube filled with air at a very low pressure long before the discovery of electrons. See, before discovering electrons, he did this experiment. When high voltage was applied across the electrodes in the discharge tube, a faint red glow was observed behind the perforated cathode here, red glow, as shown in the following figure. Continuation, see. This glow was due to another type of rays following in opposite direction to the cathode rays. See, cathode direction is this one, but anode rays are in opposite direction. No? They said that. These rays have been called as rays of anode or positive rays. They said, see, anode rays are positively charged, means they are giving with respect to all the gases, not only hydrogen. Anode rays are positively charged, means all the gases we can imagine. If they are using the term protons, then we should tell only hydrogen gas. That also will be given in the continuation paragraph.
Yes, sir.
These have been charged positively and have also been called, these have been charged positively and also been called protons may be given. We'll see next page. Shall I remove this page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you explain that? Sir, can you go there, sir?
Yeah, tell me, you can ask.
In the last para, there was something, sir, I didn't understand.
So I will come to the previous page. 1 second, see, you can ask. Yeah, you can ask me now.
Sir, here this glow was due to another type of rays flowing in the opposite direction. That's sir.
This one means in the previous experiment, in the electrons discovery and cathode discharge tube experiment, electrons are moving from cathode to anode. No? Electrons.
Yes, sir.
But here, protons or anode rays are moving from anode to cathode. No?
Yes,
Both are
yes,
opposite
sir.
direction. No? Cathode rays are from left to right, cathode to anode, but anode rays are from right to left. No? Opposite directions, both
Sir.
are that one. Now it's clear, no?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Right.
Okay, sir.
See this page, and I said no, and these rays are in the last page, last line is, and these rays are also called as canal rays, means positively charged rays or anode rays are also called as canal rays. I said no, cathode rays are negatively charged particles, electrons. Those three are same names, no? Electrons are also called as negatively charged particles, also called as cathode rays. In the same manner, anode rays also called as positively charged particles, also called as canal rays. Okay, because these are anode rays are moving through the porous holes of the cathode, no? White color dots given in the diagram. From canals, those are moving, no? Because they have passed through the holes or canals present in the perforated cathode. All of you understood up to here?
Yes, sir.
Canal rays means anode rays. The following observations have been made on the anode rays, means canal rays. The anode rays also travel in straight lines like cathode rays. So properties of anode rays given here. First, like cathode rays, like electrons. Second, the anode particles carry mass and have kinetic energy like electrons. First point and second point of electrons and protons are matching, no? Electrons are moving in the straight line manner. Anode rays are also moving in the straight line manner. Second point, electrons are having some mass and having kinetic energy. In the same manner, protons are having, not protons, anode rays are having some mass and having kinetic energy. See, anode rays and protons are not same, right? Protons are one of the anode ray, but anode ray is not a proton always. I think you understood, all of you.
Yes, sir. Understood.
The continuation. Canal ray particles is much heavier than electrons and carry positive charge. See, both are having mass, no?
Yes, sir.
Electrons and protons, electrons, cathode rays and canal rays means anode rays. Canal rays means anode rays. Both are having mass.
Yes, sir. Both are having mass.
Having higher mass. Are having some anode rays are heavier than
Anode ray.
cathode rays. Okay, heavier than cathode rays.
Voice is
So
breaking.
those mass values also will be given in the next class.
So
Voice
voice
is breaking. No?
Sir, your voice is breaking.
No, come again that.
Yeah, it's okay, no?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sir, it is okay.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
See, if we see the electrons and anode rays, both are having mass and having kinetic energy. But if we see the mass values of electrons and anode rays, which are having high mass, anode rays.
Because they are positive charge.
Yes, because these are positively charged particles. Okay, right. So let me stop here today. From here, I will continue in next class because so much is there, no paragraph. We cannot finish. If we go
Yes,
fast, we cannot understand.
Bye, sir.
Sir,
All of you,
Yes,
till
sir.
here, everyone understood, no?
Yes, sir. Understood.
sir.
Yeah, right.
Bye, sir.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
sir.
Up to here, I will post these pages in the group now. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can you send the recording?
Recording, you can ask Praveen, sir.
Okay, sir.
Right.